Okay, good morning. Oh, you're down here. I have to remember. See, I have a large monitor, so you're actually up there and you're over there, and then you're in my mirror, but you're also down here. Yeah. Oh, hi to Carol. Nice to see you. I'm drinking from my favorite tea mug, the ones we used to have at the studio, the Corbett Avenue studio. Yeah. Nice to see you. Hi, Kathy from the islands. And hi, Junko. Thanks for coming. I've been seeing your name in and out. It's nice to see you here this morning. There are no fewer than 3 Lindas. That's good. Yeah. Hi to Renelle. Nice to see you again. I can see all of your names. I'm just mentioning people that I haven't seen so frequently, or I'm seeing them more recently now, like Renelle and Junko. Okay. So many things happening still in the news cycle. Still important for us to be yogis and yogi warriors, ambassadors. A note to Melissa that I can talk with you after class if we go to the phone rather than Zoom. I'm monitoring how much screen time I have. I get to see my concussion doctors today again. So yeah, good job. Christine got here in the early morning again. And I think you had quite a long day yesterday. It seems you were in your office from the morning appointment time to the afternoon that we had each other. So, yeah. Oh, wow. 3 Karens and 3 Lindas. That's cool. Okay. Yeah. There was a time, I think some of you will remember this, at the yoga studio. It wasn't like ever planned, but we would show up wearing the same colors. You know, like today is blue day or today is red day. It just seemed like a thing was happening there. So today we're showing up with some of the same names. Okay, let's take a comfortable seat. We're going to embark on our practice. Those of you who just signed in, that's great that you're here. Hi to Kat. Good job getting here. Yeah. You can rest your hands in your lap, please. And you're welcome to close your eyes. I've been getting some really good questions about the psoas and trauma. I can't unpack it all in just like one class session, but I can say that the psoas has been holding the history of what we call the unresolved fight, flight, freeze, flinch, and even the unresolved collapse, submit parts of our spectrum. And the psoas is like an innervation highway between the pelvic floor, the pelvic diaphragm, the mid diaphragm that breathes us, and then upwards to the brain. So we'll work with the 3 diaphragms again this morning, and we'll work with the psoas. So for right now, let yourself sit upright, but let the spine also not be rigid upright. It can have a kind of quiet undulation with the breath itself. So using the most subtle form of the Ujjayi breath, you can just sense the inhale kind of caressing the back of the sinuses, the back of the throat, but also you can imagine the breath massaging up the spine from the sacrum, moving upwards, and try to check and see in your own inner landscape, where is there access, connection, intimacy, and where along the spine or along that breath cycle do you kind of check out or things become more dissipated or less clear. You can check the same thing for the exhale. The exhale more concentrated in the low pelvis, low belly, mid belly, up towards the solar plexus. Whereas the inhale, I'm recommending that you continue it upwards through the heart and the collarbones. but you can check this quality of intimacy or connection between the inhale and the exhale and the spine. To bring your attention to this means that you're using the quality of very subtle attention, which is a more refined kind of concentration. So temporarily we set the world aside to connect in here, but the practice of yoga is not ultimately one of setting aside the world and segregating ourselves from its dilemmas. We might say the practice of yoga, and specifically Svadhyaya, is how we reflect on those dilemmas and how those are also our dilemmas, how the human condition lives in us. And with appreciation for this process, please bring your hands to Anjali Mudra. And we're going to chant this morning, Asatoma, Sat Gamaya, means may we have discernment between the real and the unreal, that which is true, that which is untrue. May we move from darkness, forgetfulness, repetition of old patterns into luminosity, possibility, the development of new understandings and new actions. May we know the finite from the infinite, the bitter from the sweet. May we not keep choosing that which contracts us. May we choose that which brings expansion. So Asatoma Sat Gamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityodama Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityodama Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Sat Gamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityodama Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Please open your eyes. I'm going to move my seat slightly back because we're going to do a little bit of seated pranayama. So I'd like you to be able to open the upper back, neck, and shoulders in service to the 3 diaphragms. So with your inhale, raise your right arm up, please. And then bend the elbow and place your hand wherever it lands. Reach over with your left hand. Support the right elbow to go upwards. And on the inhale, make a little seated back bend right from where you are. And then exhale the torso upright. Now inhale, side bend to your left. Exhale, upright. Inhale, raise your right arm, lower the left. And exhale, open your right arm, palm face up, turn your head as far as it goes to your left. Inhale, raise your left arm, bring your head to center. Bend the left elbow. Now with this inhale, go upright like a little seated back bend. You exhale to vertical, so out of the back bend to an upright spine. Inhale, side bend to your right. Exhale, come upright. The upright has to be sort of guided from the inner belly, right? Not just the outer muscles. Inhale, raise your left arm, lower your right. And exhale, open your left arm, turn your head deeply to your right. Okay. Inhale, raise your right arm. In one smooth movement, hold the elbows, side bend to your left. Inhale, upright. Exhale, back bend, even lift the chest, heart, open the throat. Inhale, upright, raise your right arm. Exhale to open, turn your head to your left. Inhale, raise your left arm. In one smooth movement, hold your elbows, side bend to your right. Inhale, upright. Exhale, back bend. Include opening your chest, heart, and throat. Now inhale, upright, raise your left arm. Then exhale, turn your head to your right, lower the left arm down. Roll your left shoulder back. Inhale to center, raise both arms. Interlace your fingers, exhale, side bend to your left. Inhale, upright. Now exhale, pull the hands and elbows down behind you, press your head back into your hands. Inhale to go up. Exhale, side bend to your right. Inhale, rise up. And then exhale, take the hands behind your head, press backwards. And inhale to go up. Okay, exhale, wide sweep of the arms. And let's walk forward with your hands, fingers, and thumbs. Bow the torso forward. And come down in a kind of gesture of pranam, or a gesture of humility. So that humility that says, we want to be part of solutions. We're willing to see systems be changed, both our internal systems and the larger systems. And that we deeply want this on behalf of humanity. And then walk your hands back towards your knees. Please rise up to sitting, and then let's come up to standing. And Alice, I'm going to back up and you can take me to the other camera, please. When we go back, I'd like you to step your right foot forward, left foot back in a tiny stance. So not a long stride, but just right foot forward, left foot back. And let's take the left foot on a slight angle. Right? And from that place, pick up your hip bones on the front and root the tailbone on the back. So that should stabilize the pelvis pretty firmly right there. And then inhale, sweep both arms up. Might feel like you're standing like on a little tightrope here. You're balancing. With your exhale, make a slight side bend to your right. So sense the C shape, the crescent shape from your left heel up into your left fingertips. And let that breath come down to the left hemisphere of the body. So in that process, when you're side bending, to keep it from the hips sashaying out to the side, you have to use the strength of both hips, right hip, left hip. Then exhale, come upright. Here you are. Keep the pubic bone lifted and come into a standing back bend. So right foot forward has less weight on it than the left foot does right now. Please go upwards, not just backwards. And then when you exhale, sweep the arms wide, step your left foot forward. Step your right foot back. Tiny strides, so it's not the longest. I want to get the psoas open before we do longer strides. Inhale, raise your arms up. Okay, lift the pubic bone, root your tailbone, and tone the muscles at the back of your right hip. And then side bend to your left without sashaying your hips to the right. So that side bend is something that you have some lift upwards before sidewards. Please don't rest your left rib cage on your left hip. So we're not creasing the left sideways. We're lengthening both actually. And then come upright and see what your back bend feels like. Again, you want to have a little more weight in your right heel, the back heel. Left leg is there, but mostly for stabilizing. Go upwards like a tall blade of grass in the sun. And then when you exhale, sweep the arms wide, step forward with your right foot. You're arriving in mountain pose. Join your palms for Surya Namaskar. We inhale, energize the legs, reach up. When you go up, lift your heart, open your throat, lift your gaze, and let's make a little standing back bend right here. And then exhale, upright and down to chair pose. Broaden your lower back in chair pose. It's not a back bend for the lumbar spine here. Then inhale, press down to rise up, go straight up. And exhale, bow forward, curl the low belly in, touch the floor, or use your yoga blocks if you're preferring that today. Then inhale, glide your heart forward. And exhale for a deep bow towards the legs. Complete the exhale from within the low abdomen. Again, inhale, glide forward through your heart. With your exhale, take your left toes straight back to the crescent lunge pose. Root down through your right heel. You rise up, inhale. Clasp the hands like an arrow. If the hands don't clasp easily, it is okay. You can take care of your shoulders in whatever way you need to, but if you are able to clasp, please go up and side bend to your right. Without moving the hips, so we're not sashaying left to right. Go upwards before you go sideways. And then inhale like the breeze is bringing you upright. Root the tailbone and come into a little standing back bend. Open your heart, your throat, lift your gaze. Keep the upper chakras open. And then exhale, make a big circle of the arms. Come over your right leg. Touch the floor next to your foot. Inhale, left foot forward, heart forward. And then enjoy a deep bow towards your legs. Inhale, glide forward. Open the side ribs, heart and collarbones. Exhale, right foot back. You press into your left heel. Inhale, glide up. Clasp your hands. Go upwards before you go sideways. And please keep the pelvis stable. So you might be getting a sense like there actually is one big skin suit, one big myofascial plane, because as you side bend the upper torso, you light up something at your right hip or hip flexors. And take a deep breath in to come upright like you're in a breeze, and this tall blade of grass comes up, and then back bending. And back bending is in the heart here. It's not that you're compressing your lower back. And then exhale, big circle of the arms, stretch it out to the sides of the horizon. And as you lightly touch the floor, step backwards, downward dog pose. You inhale in downward dog pose. And then please exhale to plank pose. Gaze down between your thumbs. When you arrive, enjoy a full inhalation in plank pose. And then exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Come onto your stomach, please point your toes. Come to your fingertips and inhale up to cobra. We're using the fingertips because I want you to use the shoulders and the upper back more. Yes, your hands are important, but don't overly rely on pushing into the floor. Lift your heart from inside. Broaden your collarbones. Set the shoulders back. Let the breath go from the lower to the middle to the upper. And then exhale and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Momentarily touch your forehead to the floor. That's called pranam. And then inhale, roll back up to cobra. One vertebrae at a time, lifting your heart and then the throat and then your gaze this time. Lift the chin slightly and see if you might sense a stretch that happens on the front line of the body. And then exhale and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Bow your forehead, place your palms beneath your shoulders, curl your toes under. Inhale to plank. And exhale backwards, downward facing dog. Enjoy a full inhale in dog pose. Specifically, try to breathe into the back of your sacrum where it meets your lumbar spine. And then exhale, step your right foot forward. Okay, press into your left toes and let's rise up to the crescent lunge. Now, some of you are going to want your arms to stay out to the side here. Others will do okay with the arms up overhead, and some will prefer this. Keep the right knee stable here. And as you exhale, touch the left knee down. Then inhale to go up. You exhale, lower the left knee down, maybe just part way. You have to consider your hips, knees, and ankles. Inhale to go up. Exhale to touch down. Try to use the pace of the breath, even if you're just going 3 degrees down, not all the way down. And inhale to go up. This time exhale, wide circle of the arms. We are going to step back to downward facing dog pose. Please inhale. And then exhale your left foot up between your hands. When you press down through the left heel, establish the toes as well. And then rise up, crescent lunge. Decide for yourself for the hands. Then exhale, touch the right knee down. Inhale to go up. You might explore each of the hand positions. Exhale to touch down. Inhale to go up. And one more time, exhale to touch down. And going part way is completely fine. We inhale to go back up. Yes, the body should feel a little bit heated. Exhale, arms wide. Touch the floor and inhale, step forward with your right foot. And then exhale for a deep bow to the legs. Release the breath as completely as you can. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, a deep bow. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Look up, please. And exhale, hands to your heart. Momentarily you can close your eyes. And sense the inner plumb line in your practice. And let your awareness also be porous, outwards, in every direction. You're here practicing yoga this morning on your mat. Not to separate yourself from the world at large and what it needs from you, but to bring wisdom into action by resolving the difficulties, the places in us that are conditioned, overwhelmed, the places we don't know so well about ourselves. We're going to go again. So inhale, raise the arms, energize your legs, please. When you go up, clasp the hands, but change the interlace of the fingers by 1 digit and come into a little standing back bend. So for some of us, the arms are going to support the head because your arms are close enough to cradle your ears. And then exhale, upright and forward. One long exhale. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. Okay, this time we're going to step back with the left foot and step down to Anjaneyasana. So touch your left knee to the floor. It's totally fine to pad your knee. And inhale, come up. Great. So if the hips and pelvis stay centered as they are right now, so your right hip is stable, you zip the pubic bone up. There should be some opening at the left hip flexors, the left psoas. You're going to bend the left elbow. Hold your left elbow with your right hand. And encourage the back bend to include lifting your heart and your rib cage and your upper back, not just bending back and creasing at the lumbar spine. Now keeping this openness in the upper back, as you next inhale, raise your left arm and lower your right. And then exhale, open the left arm out to the side as you bring the torso up. And then touch the floor, please. Let's step the left foot forward and bring the heart forward, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, take your right toes back and touch your right knee down to the floor. Rise up, Anjaneyasana. Please keep the hips centered and stable. Good. Bend your right elbow. Hold with your left hand. Please go upwards. So you almost can imagine that you're pulling the right elbow upwards, not just that you're pulling it backwards. And the back bend is in the heart. Notice that if you raise your gaze, if you're able to lift the chin slightly, it does affect what happens in the deep low belly. And as you next inhale, raise your right arm high, lower your left arm. And then exhale, right arm out to the side and lightly touch the floor. Okay, step backwards, please, to downward facing dog pose. Inhale across the back of your sacrum. And exhale forward to plank pose. Okay, inhale, chaturanga. Come onto the belly and place your fingertips for cobra pose. And inhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time, bhujangasana. Raise your heart, open your throat. Lift your gaze, and you can explore lifting the chin. And then exhale to glide down, kind of vertebrae by vertebrae. And bow your forehead. Energize your legs and tailbone. Inhale to roll up. Set your shoulders back. Include the chin. Go from the pubic bone to the chin. Then exhale and roll down. Place your hands beneath your shoulders and press up to table pose. And then backwards to child's pose. So in this child's pose, I'm going to ask you to stretch your hips back towards your heels, certainly. But as you're going back to child's pose, use your fingertips on the floor and lift the center of the heel of the hand. So the hands look like spiders or suction cups. And rest your ears between your upper arms so the head is not lower than the arms. And observe the breath now. Go inside. The inhale, when it's working optimally, will lightly expand the pelvic floor. Then the in-breath expands the sides of the ribs and the back waist. And then you can also sense the inhale coming up into the upper back, the space between the upper shoulder blades. And the breath comes up to touch the collarbones from underneath. Please do that one more time. Try to trace the pathway of the breath for you. Pelvic diaphragm, breathing diaphragm, and the upper diaphragm. And then walk your hands back towards your knees. Take one block to sit on, please, in Virabhadrasana. You can decide if you're going to sit medium block or flat block. Bring your hands to your lap, please. Asatoma sat Gamaya. Tamasoma jyotir Gamaya. Mrityodama amritam Gamaya. May our practice be helping us to identify that which is real, that which is true, and to discern it between that which is not real, that which is not true. So with these three diaphragms, when they're working well, we have access to certain kinds of pranayama. And right now we're going to do something to sort of dissipate or discharge energy that can get trapped in the body. And then we'll see if our inhale suspension feels bright, where the collarbones can really lift. And then we'll check what exhale suspension feels like. So this is called Kappalabhati. And you could place one hand on the solar plexus to kind of check that you're doing and that the belly does pull in right here as the exhale goes out. You also can place your hands in your lap if you prefer. Okay, please follow my pace. Exhale completely, exhale all the way. Now inhale first third, middle third, upper third, and deliberately bring the breath to lift the heart and the collarbones. Hold the inhale. Exhale through both nostrils and exhale from the tone of the deep, low belly to usher the exhale out slowly, slowly, slowly. At the end of the exhale, the belly should feel like it's most toned. And then you release that tone and let the breath take care of you for a few moments. You're now repeating that. Take a brief inhale. Exhale completely through both nostrils. Take the exhale all the way to its end. And then inhale first third, middle third, upper third, and bring the breath deliberately up into the heart. Let the collarbones float on top of the inhale. Hold the breath. Close the right nostril. Exhale left side only. Release your right hand to your lap. And we'll do it once more, and we'll be using exhale right nostril after the inhale suspension. And take a little sip of an inhale, and then please follow my pace to the best of your ability. Exhale, 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 completely exhale all the way to the end. And then inhale first, middle, and upper third. Hold the breath. Close the left nostril. Exhale right side. And then relax your body. Receive the next inhale. Now if the breath gets very still here, that is okay. If you feel you become more internal, and check in with the inner landscape of the body. What little personal untruths do you need to sort of dissolve or let disembark from the Ferris wheel of your mind? And we're going to work with the psoas before we do the exhale retention. So I'd like you to have a blanket for your knees and 1 or 2 yoga blocks. You will see why in a moment. So come up to stand on your high knees like this. And then step your right foot forward. So this is, you actually you're not going to come way forward like Anjaneyasana right now. I'd like us to be vertical with the left thigh. Most of you will be about parallel with your right thigh. And this is going to need to be close enough. I just moved my blanket because I don't want to put my block on my blanket. It becomes unstable. Okay, lift the pubic bone. Organize the tone you need in the pelvis right here. Raise your left arm up, just the left arm. Bend the left elbow. Hold with your right hand. Okay, so as you keep the pelvis stable now, see if you can have the breath go. First third, it does touch the pelvic floor. Middle third, the breath expands the rib cage. And then upper third, that your breath does lift up under your collarbones. Make a little side bend to your right. Do not let the hips sashay about when you make the side bend. So keep the pelvis stable. That way you can really explore into the left hip flexors, left iliacus, left lower back, left side waist. And place your right hand on your block. Stretch the left arm. So think of yourself as going up, not just sideways. And then using the low belly, especially on the left side, exhale to come upright and release your left arm. Okay, let's change sides. You may have to move your blanket over. And then right knee on the blanket and left foot forward. Again, I'd like your right thigh to be vertical, so this is also, maybe it's horizontal. Lift the pubic bone up. Raise your right arm. You can bend the elbow. Everyone's elbow height is different, right? Yeah, you're finding that out. And the height of the head related to the length of the upper arm is different. So when you side bend to your left, please keep the pelvis stable. Even the right butt muscles are toned right now. And try to sense what is happening in the interior of your right hip. And then raise your right arm alongside and take your left hand to your block. It's not that you're weight bearing all that much on the block, but I do want you to press down into it some to keep yourself going up, not just sideways. And breathe in again and connect to the right lower belly. You're going to exhale, pull yourself up from the right low belly, and then release. Good. Now I'd like you to take downward facing dog pose. Before we look at exhale suspension in a seated position, come into downward facing dog, and first smooth out the breath. This is very important that you're not in a hurry, you're acclimated to your downward dog pose, you don't feel breathless. And what I'm going to ask you to do, since we've been practicing exhale suspension, I'll just describe the basic steps, and I'm asking you to try it here in downward dog pose. So you'll have a full, smooth inhale without urgency, without any apprehension or frenzy. And then you exhale, and you're going to complete the exhale, toning the deep low belly. At the end of the exhale, you will not be inhaling, and I'm going to ask you to relax the low abdomen. The muscles that support the exhale can relax, and there'll be this internal suction that happens from the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, and the upper palate in the chest and throat as well. You do keep the arms strong, and you do inhale when you are ready to. And please try that one more time so you have a smooth inhale. You're in no particular hurry. You complete the exhale, you hold the breath out, but deeply relax the low belly muscles right above the pubic bone. And then bring yourself down to table pose. Take your block to sit in Virabhadrasana. Come upright. So what's happening there when you have the belly muscles, exhale, 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 and then you're not inhaling, but you release the belly muscles and you're inverted, the suction of the low belly creates a hollow spot just above the pubic bone inside the deep abdomen. Now we're going to try that suction when we go forward with an exhale retention. We're currently sitting up on a block, but I'm going to recommend actually, if you're able to, that you sit down to your heels. And you place the block here for the forehead. You can watch me on the first go. So this is my inhale. And this is the exhale. And I'm going to exhale all the way through. I want the elbows to come to the floor. My head's going to touch the block. At the end of my exhale, I'm going to hold the breath out and then deeply relax the low belly muscles. Then I release the exhale suspension and let the inhale come. And I'm going to walk my hands forward, and I'm going to ask you guys to do the same, that you can inhale next to rise up. And then you exhale to release. And that inhale to rise up means you've got to be able to use the fulcrum of the pelvis and the low belly. So let's try this a couple times together. This is intermediate pranayama, so I'm trusting your practice. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, so keep your hips on your heels to the best of your ability. You do exhale and squeeze the body like closing an accordion. Place your elbows and your forehead for support. Hold the breath out and deeply relax the low belly. And then you release the bandhas. Let the next inhale blossom into the body. Walk your hands forward, hips back, and as you inhale, rise up upright. It's called Virabhadrasana. And exhale, release. We're going to do it again. So inhale, first third, middle third, upper third of the breath. Good job. Exhale to come forward. Exhale, suspension. Then you release the exhale suspension and allow the inhale to come. Walk the hands forward, connect from your hips towards your heels, and inhale, rise up. And exhale. And then pause. Notice the quality of your mind, and if it does become more inward yet again, consider Asatoma Satgamaya. Maybe be willing to see that which is true. Svadhyaya, self-study. And that which is untrue, also through Svadhyaya, self-study. Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya. Maybe be willing to be moved, as it were, moved from darkness, forgetfulness, ignorance, to luminosity, remembrance, intelligence. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. May we go from the finite to the infinite. May we know that which is contraction and that which is expansion. May we move with respect for both what is finite and what is infinite. I'm going to ask you to come up to standing, please. Take a wide stance and come into Prasarita Padottanasana, the wide leg forward bend. When you come down for this wide leg forward bend, every one of us is going to have a different, how close are we to the floor. So place your feet one leg length wide so that from your 2 feet to your hips, this is an equilateral triangle. Come into the Ujjayi breath and please rise up to your fingertips. We have a little sequence here. It's going to go like this. Please turn your right foot to the right. Turn your left heel slightly out. Okay. Bend your right knee deeply. Walk your right hand somewhere in front of your right ankle. And when I say in front of, I mean on the short side of your mat like this. Now, as you bend your right knee, the base of the pose is like Parshvakonasana or Virabhadrasana, side angle or warrior 2. So press your right knee open in line with the third toe. Tone your outer right hip so it's very strong and press into your outer right heel. Now walk your right hand back near to your right ankle. Walk your left hand around next to your right. This is the base of Virabhadrasana 1. Press the right knee open so it's lined up with the third toe. Keep the left inner thigh strong and rotate your left heel up from the floor. Now your hips are more level to the floor. Place your left palm firmly on the floor. Place your right hand on your right knee and start twisting your upper body to your right. Now be very strong with your left arm, please, and rotate to your outer left foot. You may not go all the way down, but you're going in that direction. So now the left hip is lower than the right hip. Reach way back through the left leg into your big toe. It's not probably touching the floor right now, but reach into your inner heel as well. And then press down through your left arm, rotate the left heel back up. Place your right fingertips on the floor, left fingertips on the floor. Okay, pivot the left heel. It's Virabhadrasana 1 for the legs. Walk your hands around. So left hand in front, right hand forward of the right foot. Now the legs are in warrior two. Pick up the left arm and twist to your left. Keep the right knee where it is. So you've really got this sense of the foundation from your right foot to your right outer hip to your left heel. And then exhale and release. And let's straighten the right leg. Please turn your right foot in. Walk your hand so that you have a symmetrical pose again. We are working through the pelvis there. Take the right heel slightly out to the right. Turn your left foot directly to the left. And as you bend your left knee, just walk your hands over a little to your left. So the left foot is in front of here. I don't know how to say it because we're not in the same room, but the left hand is in front of the left foot. Right hand in front of the pelvis. You can say it like maybe like that. Okay, press the left knee open strongly. So you have to use your left outer heel, left outer hip, lengthen your left inner thigh. Notice what it takes to sustain the foundation of this. We are going to walk over now. So you're going to place the left fingertips next to your left ankle, right fingertips in line with your left, and pivot so that the hips are doing Virabhadrasana 1. Keep the legs steady. Place your right palm firmly on the floor or a block. Left hand to your left knee. Twist your upper back to your left and pivot your right heel up. Now, keeping the right arm strong, rotate your outer right heel towards the floor. You may not get all the way down. That's okay. It's not actually that we're trying to get the heel to the floor. It's just that that's an easier direction to say. Turn the outer right heel down. It means really rotate your right leg. It's internally. So you have to put strength in the inner right thigh, inner right heel. And then rotate back to center. So place your fingertips in line with your left foot. Take the inner right heel to the floor. This is Virabhadrasana 1 for your legs. Walk it around so your left hand comes in line with your left foot, but forward to the edge of the mat. Right hand on the floor. Keep the left thigh really steady and pick up your right arm to twist to your right. And listen for how you're responding to the sort of like unknowns. You don't know these poses. Maybe you don't know where we're going. How is your mind responding? Bring the right fingertips down. Let's walk back to a symmetrical pose. And bow towards the legs. And notice what you do when a pose is familiar. And then shift your hands to your hips. Rise up to standing. And let's take mountain pose for a few moments. So you can sense what is that like now in the legs. What's happened from your pelvis, pelvic diaphragm, diaphragm down to your feet. What's happening now? Notice your heels and your toes, the temperature of your legs. Try to imagine how your psoas is responding. Now, because I know who's here in class, we're going to do one more thing before Shavasana. And I'm saying because I know who's here, we can do this. It's a little bit more intermediate. So you're going to take 2 blocks now for bridge pose. And those of you who have the lumbar spine that does like to bend quite a bit, you have to resist that here. Okay, so we go like this. Please lie on your back, have the 2 blocks close enough for your hands. Lift your hips and put the 2 blocks under for bridge pose. which is actually going to be to stretch your psoas. And though I'm turning my head to look at you, please don't turn your head. I picked up my shoulders, so I wasn't just on my head and neck there. Okay, so when you come down, this is supported bridge pose. Check that you've got the block so you really feel like the pelvis can rest on the blocks and it's pretty neutral. You're not tipping your pelvis forward. Tuck the shoulders under. And then bring your right knee up. Bring it towards the chest. You don't have to hold it. Gravity should help that process to happen, but if you feel like holding it, I guess you can. And then take the left leg out. Straighten your left knee, so you're going to be lowering the left leg only so much as your left psoas lets you. So the left leg in this one is not passive. I would like it to reach long from your left hip into your left heel. Yes. Good. And maybe the heel never reaches the floor in this position. Slightly, very slightly, rotate your left leg internally. So turn the left big toe in, turn the left knee very slightly in. May not go very far, but I want you to have the intention not to turn it out. And then glide your left heel to kind of be in line with your right heel. So you're taking the left heel across the mat to the right. You just added a little C shape for the left iliacus. And bring that back, aligning your left heel now with your left hip. And then place the left foot down. You can bend the knee. Glide your left foot back to where you started. Touch the right foot down. Bring your left knee up. Okay, maybe you already feel the right hip flexors. Some of you will. The left knee, want that to come in. And lengthen the right leg out. You might be sensing the opening across your hip flexors already, right through here. Try to imagine that opening going down to your right inner heel. Yeah. So by the way, exhale suspension, as we work on learning it more, when we actually do it as like the full experience, you're going to be massaging the iliacus and the psoas and the diaphragm. So it's another way of releasing some of the tension that we've held, where the psoas has every fight, flight, flinch that's unresolved. It's still kind of living in there waiting for resolution. So for right now, turn your right knee and toe slightly in and glide your right leg across, maybe your right heel sort of like lining up with your left hip. A little C shape for the iliacus. And then glide your right leg to go straight out from your hip. And keeping some tone in the low belly here, you're just going to let the right knee bend and the heel might come to the floor. And glide it back. Place your left foot next to your right. Pick up both hips. Put the blocks aside. And when you come down, place your sacrum down. Pick up both feet and knees. Clasp the hands around your feet, please. This is called Baddha Konasana. One variation of Supta Baddha Konasana. Press the knees open. Using the outer hip muscles. You're not pressing your knees open with your hands. Notice what happens to the shape of the breath at the pelvic floor. Roll your shoulders back to the floor. Release your feet. And choose a Shavasana pose that's nurturing for you. Now you could choose just to go to the standard, which is what I'm showing, like standard Shavasana. You could also choose to put a blanket under your knees. You can choose to cover up with a blanket. You can choose an eye pillow. Whatever choice you make, I want it to be restful. I'm seeing you up on the monitor there. Yeah. So give your body a chance now to integrate the new information about your posture, breath, the inner workings of the body. Also give your body a chance to resolve that which you are aiming to resolve, tension patterns and thought patterns. Yoga is multi-layered. You might experience returning to your native well-being, your native state. You might experience the discharge of emotions or physical tension. You might experience the sense that you individually dissolve a bit and are sensing your interconnection with all things. We become less self-absorbed, more aware of the interdependence. So allow your body to rest deeply. To the extent that you can, you open yourself to those processes, just welcoming how the kind medicine of yoga will be caring for you right now. Allow the body to be really heavy with relaxation. So your muscles, they can be limp, not active. The mind can be at ease, no particular need for thoughts. And you let the inner experience, the prana body, circulation, respiration, the subtle experience of the body, allow that to nourish you. That nourishment is something that we need, and it's not only physical nourishment of the body. So receiving this process. Also means surrendering your ideas about how this practice is supposed to turn out. Let the body get a little heavier yet again. resting, resting, and receiving. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Amritam Gamaya Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya We welcome the heaviness of the body from Shavasana, the deep rest of the physical body, the Annamaya Kosha. Welcome the renewal of the energy body, the Pranayama Kosha. Welcome a clarification of, a reconciliation of the Manomaya Kosha. Releasing that which is unreal, that which is untrue. Working to understand what you have as your personal work with that which is unreal, that which is untrue. And moving to the Vijnanamaya Kosha, allowing luminosity and wisdom to return. And returning to Anandamaya Kosha, the indwelling, the infinite. And you can gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. And please bend one knee at a time. I'm going to ask you to roll to your side and rest there for a few moments. And then you can use both hands to bring yourself up to sitting. When you come up to sit, please make your seat comfortable and upright. And rest your hands in your lap as you like. as you center in your own post-practice kind of sphere, I'm going to ask you to let awareness of the events of our nation, of our world, let those be a part of your consideration. You do not need to be flooded, but I do want you to be present with. To allow yourself to feel, to have this little sense of porousness. I shouldn't even say little because really it's massive, but to have a sense of porousness. May we be able to simply feel today. And then with that felt sense, may it also touch the receptor sites in us that are there for compassion and action, for wisdom and discernment, for social change, and our renewal to stay involved in this kind of necessary transformation. You can join your hands into Anjali Mudra. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Thank you for being here. Such an important daily experience to renew, to reclarify, to be courageous enough to say what is real, what is unreal, what is true, what is untrue. And I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about in ourselves. How do we really do this Svadhyaya to see where am I being held up in my awareness, my understanding? Where am I subject to my conditioning and I don't yet know it?